Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 6th of April 2025. Going to be just a brief video today. I had a sinus operation yesterday, so voice probably sounds funny and I can't talk for too long. So I'm just going to do a brief video on what's going on, go through the market breadth, etc. So starting off with the S&P 500, massive breakdown across the board in the markets this week. If we flick to the stages summary here, you can see everything practically in stage 4. We've got multiple new stage 4 attempts in utilities, financials, communications, healthcare services as well. The vast majority of the market dropping into stage 4. So this week as we saw this huge breakdown across the board as panic sets in. So it's that old adage of take the stairs up and then the elevator down type thing. So market doesn't do what we see with the classic stage analysis pattern where you go up nicely, come down nicely. It's often more gradual and then a sudden drop off. So seeing that very much so in the S&P 500 here, which has got obviously extremely extended in the short term to the downside, but when panic sets in, it doesn't mean it could continue with that. If we look at the percentage of stocks above their 50-day, 150 and 200-day moving averages, this has dropped down to a much lower level, a level that we don't see except for an extreme stage 4 situation. So we're down to just 15% of the NYSE and NASDAQ stocks above their short, medium and long-term moving averages with this. We go through to the daily chart, you can see well below the minus 3 ATR level on here, and we closed just off of the lows here. So it's a bit of a self-inflicted move in the markets by what's going on with the Trump tariffs. So it could just as equally be resolved quickly if that is the case. It's not it's more of a shock than it is a systemic problem. So, for example, the 2008 recession was much more of a financial problem in the system and the housing market, etc., whereas this is something that's a bit of a self-inflicted wound. So it's potential that it could get resolved quickly, but there's obviously it's a complete unknown at this point. So all we can do is play defense until we get to some kind of resolution and there's a bit more certainty going on. From a technical perspective, if we look at the decline here, you can see you've got a sort of ABC type pattern that's gone on here. Obviously some gap down capitulation type look to it, but no, we haven't had that move lower. Often you do get that on a Monday where you get the weekend retail traders coming in and get a gap down, and then you end up with a reversal bar type move. We may, who knows, but at this point, until we see some kind of demand coming into the market, all we can do is stay out of its way and look for potential areas of technical support. So as I was saying, we've had that ABC correction. So the first move down was a 10% move here, then up. Pull it back here, we've also moved down 12%, so already extended past the normal short-term technical range here. We've got just through the technical level from back in the August low here. If we go back onto the weekly chart here, you can see those levels a little bit more clearly. So basically sitting just around that August level, just into the previous level before that was from back in April, but not really any kind of technical support to speak of. Otherwise, I mean, you could put on a Fibonacci level when it's approaching the 50% zone from the previous move. So you can see we've just dropped up to there. So 50% level is down in this range here in the 4,800, 4,900 range. But as I said, no real technical levels to speak of other than the April and the August lows from this move. So at the moment it's just keeping out of its way, it's playing defense until there's some sign of some demand coming in on a much shorter term time frame. So we've got the NASDAQ, very similar moves going on. We're now 4 weeks into stage 4 in the NASDAQ 100 here, again approaching levels of support, but obviously, again, we've got panic at this point, which we didn't have at those points. So whether it will find support here or not is obviously a complete unknown. But we are down to just 21% of stocks in NASDAQ 100 above their 200-day moving average. So deeply into stage 4. And again, on the daily time frame here, you can see the moves down. We had a swing of 13 and the second swing down of over 14% here. So we're in a potential area where technically it may start to find support with that, but obviously no guarantees again with those kind of things. So only 7% above the 20-day moving average, and the Russell was 6 weeks into the stage 4 decline, and you can see we've broken, that's for the original stage 2 level back here, we've broken below the original stage 2 level, so we've come complete full circle in just 6 weeks from the, obviously the, as we were saying, take the stairs up stage 2 and took the elevator down. So only 13.83% above the 200-day moving average at the moment. So a very, very low reading with that. Look at the daily again with the swings. It's come off from the ultimate highs there. So 12% move down, and then secondary more major swing of 23%. So much more extended in the short term in the Russell there, and a little bit of demand showing at the end of the day, unlike we saw in the larger caps. If we look at the stage 2s for the week, so let's turn on those. It was only 20 stage 2A moves, versus we look at stage 4A moves, it was actually 614. So extremely one-sided in terms of the breakouts and the breakdowns in terms of the market. We'll look at the major stocks. We did run through the 10, so Meta, the Magnificent 7 stocks. So the Meta moving into stage 4A this week, breaking down. So this was the last one that had been holding up in stage 3. So Tesla continuing lower in stage 4, so it broke down at stage 4, made the back up, and is now making the continuation. But this could obviously turn into a range, so if it does manage to hold within this range, then that could go on to form a base and eventually turn around. But at the moment, obviously with the market continuing lower, the trend remains in early stage 4 there. Amazon moving in further into stage 4, so it's been down for 4 weeks now. You've got Microsoft obviously continuing lower in stage 4, has gradually drifted off over the last few months. So this one getting deeper, SARS score of 0. Apple, big move down this week, so you can see again a bit of a ABC type move in the last month or so. So 4 weeks into stage 4. Google continuing lower in stage 4, so, and Nvidia broke down convincingly into stage 4 this week, closing in the 94.31. So it's been in stage 4 for a little bit here. Stan said he obviously wanted a definitive close below 104, but obviously started drifting off lower. So as we talked about before, whether it was 3B or 4A didn't really matter. All that matters is if you're in late stage 3 or in early stage 4, they both mean basically exactly the same thing, which is that you're on defense and you should be. It's not a time to be holding the stock. So Nvidia moving lower in stage 4 at the moment as well. And with that, with all of the mega caps, the Mag 7 breaking down, we saw multiple other mega cap stocks breaking down this week. On Thursday, you can see from here, on Friday it closed at 16.33% in stage 2, whereas I think on Thursday that was still in the 30+% range. So we got a big drop off on Friday with that, and now the mega caps have joined the rest, and we've got more stocks in stage 4, so 59% to only 16% than are in stage 2, and that's been the case across the board. So it started with the weaker areas, then the nano caps, then the micro caps, then the mini caps, the small caps. So it's been a gradual knocking down of the pins until we got to the mega caps, and that they finally toppled this week and obviously took the market with them much significantly lower. You can see that here with the sub-stages, 22.45% moved into 4A this week of the mega caps. So obviously the smaller caps, majority of them had already moved into stage 4, but we were still seeing lots of those breaking down into stage 4 as well. So obviously a lot more of those too. So currently, vast majority of stocks are in these two areas, 4A or 4 at the moment. We have still got a decent amount in stage 3 there, but obviously very, very few now in stage 2, 2.04% in the main part of stage 2 in the mega caps down. Most, you've still got some in late stage 2 and 2B minus, so, but very, very few in the main part of stage 2. I did a post on X the other day. We posted where you show the stage where it goes down, goes into stage 1 and then starts coming up again. The majority of stocks are in this kind of area at the moment, after rolling over into stage 4. So they're in the earlier to more middle part of stage 4. So many months away from getting back to the classic stage 2 breakout point for the vast majority of stocks. But we could see some move back to that much earlier, and stocks that have held up better will move back to that point earlier once there's some kind of rebound attempt. But for the vast majority of stocks, they're in that early stage 4 type move, and it could be a long time before they get back to actionable points, and obviously some never will. So